Hey, good morning, guys. Whew, I'm tired. Are you tired? I'm tired of a lot of things. This quarantine is tired. And I know it's not technically a quarantine right now, it's a shelter in place. But yeah, that's what we're calling it. And this is a difficult time. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that quarantine fatigue that we're all experiencing. Got my notes here. Let me give you an idea of what my day looks like. I get up around 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, put together a script and frequently a slideshow and some links and some current news and things like that, something to share with you guys. Try to get that all scripted and filmed and posted by 7 a.m. Then 7 a.m. I'm getting together my daughter's lessons for the day and putting that together, and basically from 7 o'clock to 3 o'clock, I'm spending a lot of the time with her, making sure that she's able to do her lessons. She's 6, so as you might imagine, she doesn't work really well on her own. And of course I'm checking in with you guys and answering your questions as you come in with messages to me throughout the day. But this is hard and it's exhausting. And when we first started, I was really excited by just this new way of doing things, and I get to make videos for you every day, and I get to reach out with you and see if I can share something new in a way that we haven't done before, and that was exciting, and I learned little new technologies and more about Schoology. I learned Zoom, and that was kind of exciting too. I was able to do lessons with my daughter in a way we'd never been able to do before. We didn't have time for, because during the course of the school year, she's exhausted when she gets home from school. I'm exhausted, but now we have time for this stuff. And there's that fire up at the very beginning when March 13th happened. And I know a bunch of you kids, one of your first responses was, "Woohoo! We get to have 3 weeks of vacation." That sounded awesome, right? Some families went through that too. They're like, "All right, great, we get a long vacation. Let's go have a long vacation," and that was fun until the charm wore off and we got tired and restless. And we're still learning new things. We're learning how to order deliveries and pick up supplies with social distancing. I'm doing like a grocery trip once every 10 days, and I'm not going into the stores anymore. I'm just like calling in or doing the app and having them bring it out to the car, and I'm wearing the mask the whole time. And I'm using social media for socializing, and some days it's not enough. And other days it's too much, and I just need to put the phone down and spend some time not looking at the social feed, because some of that stuff is very frustrating right now. Same thing with news. The news feed is I struggle to find things that are current events that are not COVID-19 related, and I love sharing news articles with you, but man, everything is about COVID right now. I love my family. I love my family, but we're spending a lot of time together, and we need space. We need time to be ourselves and be our individual persons, and that's difficult when you're with them all the time. And different people have different social needs. Some people have social needs that they really need to be interacting with others a lot throughout the day, every day, and the more people the better. And others of us may be comfortable sitting, drinking tea and reading books for 6 months. I might be in that category, but there's another part of me that really likes the randomness of kids. I mean, you guys are fantastic, and one of the reasons I got to be a teacher is because I love being around kids every day. And whether you're in my class or you're just somebody in the hallway, that energy, that vibe, that crazy creativeness and figuring out the worldness of being a kid is something that I love being around, and I really miss that. And right now, through what we're doing, I'm just not getting that, and it's a very isolating, lonely situation. But so right now we're getting to a point where This is my distance learning lesson 33, and you guys have been doing this quarantine for a month and a half, a little over, and some of you guys are really getting restless, and I just want to encourage you, please keep it up. It is difficult, it is long, it's much longer than it probably needed to be, and maybe it's not being handled in the best possible way. There's 100 ideas I could share with you of ways that I think this could be done differently and better, but we're not over the hill yet. I'm going to share a link from Los Angeles Times keeping up with the daily stats for the coronavirus in California, and we have basically our trend has been going up and up and up and then dip up, dip up, dip up. We're still on the rise. Most counties are still on the rise every day with more coronavirus cases and more coronavirus deaths. There are fewer deaths than there were yesterday, yes, but we still have more coronavirus cases, and until we're over that hump and we're starting to see a decline, and I mean a steep decline, like it's almost over, I don't think we can let up and start being around each other yet. I know we're so restless. We want this to be over soon, and it scares me. It scares me that we might have a second wave where we see, like we did with the 1918 pandemic, where people were restless from the quarantine and fought back against it, and then there was a new wave of outbreak. So guys, please keep it up. Please try to maintain your social distancing and encouraging the loved ones around you to do the same, because what affects one of us affects all of us. I want to acknowledge, on a side note, that all of us are in this together for social distancing and trying to keep the COVID-19 cases under control, but I also recognize that we're all in different places and we're making decisions based on that. Some of us are in a great place with a great family and a great house and a great neighborhood, and you're comfortable financially, you're able to handle it, but others of us are in a situation where you've got bills you can't manage. You're stuck at home in a toxic relationship with people you can't stand, and you're breaking rules because you feel that you need to. And I understand that, and I want to let you know that wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, that I really want the best for you. I really care that you come out of this well, emotionally, physically, financially, and it's going to be a long haul, but let's keep thinking about each other. If you're doing the homework, I'm proud of you. If you're keeping up with the homework, if you're even trying a little bit of the homework, I'm proud of you. I know we're all in different situations. Some of you guys might not have computer time until late at night, and at that point you're exhausted. It's fine. Just do what you can. Do what you can. So this restlessness, though, I'm bringing this up not just randomly, but because it leads us into today's topic. The Compromise of 1877 was marked as the end of Reconstruction, and it was about a presidential election, but it really hinged on a lot more about the restlessness of people trying to enforce change on the South for a long time. So this was a spirit of reform. This is, if you look at chapter 13, which we didn't do a lot about, but chapter 13 had the abolition movement, of course, but also the women's movement, and they were working with religion and temperance and all these ways. How can we reform society? How can we make society better? And people were fired up about it. People were going to rallies. They were reading. They were writing. They were sharing their ideas with their friends. They were really trying to make change that was better for society. And that went on for a while, and then you had the Civil War. 4 years of fighting, military action, with the effort of changing society for the better. And after 4 years of Civil War, then we begin Reconstruction, and the Civil War ended in 1865. 1875, 10 years later, they're still fighting for Reconstruction. They're still trying to make these changes. no matter how fired up you were about this, as a northerner where you weren't living this reality, after 10 years, you're going to be tired too. You're going to be tired and exhausted and ready for a compromise that, even though it's not what you wanted, is going to be something that you're willing to accept, because the years of fighting, trying to make the changes in the South, were exhausting to you. And every day it was a battle. And the changes that we saw in the South were getting more and more diluted, and they weren't being the drastic changes that we had hoped for. Yes, the slaves were freed. Yes, the African Americans were given the right to vote. They were given citizenship. But then the injustices and the inequalities were perpetuated and continued and reinforced in more than one way. And we'll talk more about that next week. But again, exhaustion, tired, and ready to move on. I feel ya. Stay safe, stay healthy.